Hello, YouTube. I am Prepper Princess, the author of Living on Almost Nothing. If you are interested in purchasing one of my books, I will go ahead and leave a link down in the description box below. You know, up until about 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't have a job that paid more than $30,000 a year. The most I ever made in a year off of one job was $44,000, and that was working tons of overtime, and most of it probably got taxed away. And I have always worked 2 jobs my entire life. They've always been low wage. Unfortunately, I graduated during the .com bubble and burst, and my degree was in computers. So I was kind of screwed. I had to take whatever job I could find, was never able to get a job in my field. So it was just whatever I could find. And of course, during a recession, when you get a job, they don't pay well. It's like, well, if you want to take it, anybody else will. Somebody else will take it. So take it or leave it. So I was kind of stuck in taking dead-end jobs where they promised me the moon and I never got anything in return, never made any good money. And when I was getting out of debt in my early 20s, I knew, I'm not stupid. I saw this. I saw what was happening. And I knew that if I ever wanted to get out of the workforce, which, by the way, all of these jobs sucked. Pretty much all of them. Almost all of them. Not all of them, but most of them sucked. If I ever wanted to get out of the workforce, I had to drastically, and I mean drastically, reduce my expenses and increase my income for as long as humanly possible, as long as I could stand it, as long as my body could take it. Because the harder I worked, the less I would have to work the older I got. I knew that that's how it works, compounding interest over time, living off of dividends, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm in a very fortunate place. I make I don't make a great income. I don't make a bazillion dollars a year. The income that I make, not including my investments and dividends, is just average. It's average. And I feel blessed to be able to get average. But, a lot of people, when they start on this, when they finally take a look at their finances and they realize, whoa, okay, I got to change something here because I'm going to die broke. I'm going to be working until I keel over. I'm not going to be able to rest. I'm not going to have enough money. All this other stuff. It's totally overwhelming, and I get that. Like, it is, you don't know where to start, or there's just so many different things that you have to do that you kind of freeze, like decision, like you can't make a decision and you don't know where to start. So you just keep pushing it off until later. That's what a lot of people do. They like to, and I've done it before too, in other things, bury your head in the sand and figure it out later. Procrastinate until I can procrastinate no more. So here is a different type of way to look at it. It's sort of like Dave Ramsey talks about the debt snowball you start with the credit card that has the lowest balance and not the highest interest rate, but just the lowest balance to get it out of the way and build up your confidence. Well, it's the same thing with lowering your expenses. People get really scared and overwhelmed and they don't know what to do. Okay, so here's where I think that would be easiest to start, and it will build your confidence, and you'll be able to, build your confidence enough to keep making those phone calls and keep doing other stuff. And that is with your cell phone. I am an affiliate with Mint Mobile, so of course I'm going to promote Mint Mobile, but it's $15 a month. The link is down in the description if you're interested. They can carry over your phone number. And by the way, when you switch out your cell phone, it's different than it was 10 or so years ago. You don't have to call your current provider and try to get them to switch out the phone number and put your cell phone on pause while you go to the other one. No, it doesn't work like that. The way that it works now is that you call the new cell phone company. They'll either send you an electronic SIM card or a physical SIM card that you put in your phone, and all the instructions are included, and it takes 2 minutes. And everything's done automatically. So as soon as the new SIM card is put in your phone, your old phone service is automatically contacted. It's magic. It's electronic magic is what it is. It's technological innovation. So you don't have to call your old company. You simply have your new phone. You have your new phone. and or not your new phone, sorry, it's your same old phone with your service. And you've got your new phone, and that's it. You get a bill from the new phone company instead of the old one. You don't get an old phone company anymore. And I never had any problems. A lot of people get really creeped out and they say, I've been with AT&T forever. I love their service. This is the only service that will work in my area, whatever that may be. And most of these large companies, there's AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, and T-Mobile are the biggest ones. And they all charge like $90 per phone line, right? Well, they have these towers, these cell phone towers. Now, here's the thing is that they may belong to AT&T or Sprint or Verizon or T-Mobile. So the tower belongs to them. But other cell phone companies can come in and use their towers so that there's not a monopoly. So they can use their towers. And there are other companies that are way less expensive that use the exact same service. So here's just some examples that I've gotten from some of my viewers, my subscribers, the commenters, stuff like that. And from my own personal experience. So I had AT&T for 20 years. I don't know how long. I had them forever. AT&T, and I was getting charged about, I want to say like $80 a month. And I felt like I was like getting a really good deal. No. So if you are an AT&T network, Cricket Wireless uses the AT&T network. Cricket is actually owned by AT&T. They are owned by AT&T, and they use the AT&T networks. $30 a month. That's unlimited everything. Also, Consumer Cellular uses AT&T networks. They're $20 a month for 1 gig. These are some of the cheapest things I could find. Okay, Sprint. So Sprint, if you're paying $90 a month, you can go to US Cellular and you can get unlimited service for $30 a month. You can go to Tello, Ting, Twigbee, Straight Talk, and Tello uses the Sprint and T-Mobile network, so it's like double coverage. And Tello can give you 2 gigs for $10 or 1 gig for $9 a month. Think of that. I use most of my cell phone service at home using my Wi-Fi network off of my computer. I need to I could reduce it down to 2 or 1 if I had to, but I like to have 4 gigs for maps and music. And I go for a lot of walks, so I like to listen to music while I walk. But if I could not afford $15 a month and I could only afford $9 or $10 a month, I could go on my walks without music. I'd be okay. And I'd just use the 1 or 2 gigs for emergencies for the maps that I use. So that is the Sprint. If you are crazy about Verizon and you're like, I will only use the Verizon networks, so you can go with US Mobile, which is 10 gigabytes a month for 10 gigs for $15 a month, or 2 gigs for $10 a month. US Mobile. The T-Mobile network, you're like, I can only use T-Mobile. Okay. Mint, Tello, or Boost. So I've gone over Mint, $15 a month. Tello, 1 gig for 9, 2 gigs for 10. Or you can also go with Boost Mobile, which is 5 gigs for 15 a month, which is the same as Mint Mobile. So I have Mint Mobile. I love Mint Mobile. I have no problems with it whatsoever. And they got better coverage than AT&T while I was living in Arizona. So that is the first thing that I would do. What it's going to do is it's going to build your confidence. You're going to notice that your $90 bill is now $30 a month, $15, $10 a month, depending on which service you choose. And you're going to be like, wow, I just saved $80 by making a phone call. And it was so easy. And it's not complicated where you have to call your old company and the new company and make sure it synchronizes and all that. No, it's all done automatically. So it literally takes no effort, almost no effort. The next thing that I would do is, you started simple. So that's step number 1. Step number 1 is done. Great. Okay. What else can I reduce? What other bills do I have around my house that I can reduce? Most people always go to the food bill. To me, I actually have, what have I've spent? Okay. So last month and the month before, last month I spent $126.86 on food. This includes dining out. This includes if I felt like going to Dunkin' Donuts or Dutch Brothers or Starbucks or Pete's or whatever, or Tim Hortons in Canada. There's no Tim Hortons here, just saying. But $126.86. And then another month I spent 6606. So, I'm not spending a lot of money on food, but most people always go to food. And I always say that food is not really like the quickest way to save, unless you want to eat nothing but oatmeal and ramen for a month or two. And then, yeah, you're going to save some money, but it's not the first place that I would cut. But if you're eating tons of prepackaged food and soda and all that stuff, just do something simple. Okay. Just so if you can't cut out soda, I know that soda is addictive. I don't drink soda, but if you can't cut out soda, cut it in half. And if you have kids, tell your kids, this is our budget for this month. You have to make this soda last all month. You can buy the 2 liters instead of like individual cans, which is cheaper. That's what we did when I was a kid. Stop with the fruit juices. It's just milk or water. That's all you get, that type of thing. People think that that's hardcore, but that's like literally how everyone grew up in the 80s and 90s, and we're all here. We still survive drinking out of hose water and then whole milk that was watered down into 2%. We're all still alive. You can do that. You can do that. But there's other ways to save. So water and sewer is pretty much just like, it is what it is. If most water and sewer is based on 1,000-gallon usage. So you get charged from 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 3,000. And if you have a big family, just cut their shower times down shorter. And maybe if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. And you can save down on some water. But again, it's not really that big of a savings. So it's not really where I would start. And in fact, I did a video on not flushing, and it turns out that you don't really, you save maybe 50 cents a month or $1 a month. And even at that, you're going to be using that much in cleaners just to keep the toilet clean. So that's not where I'd go. Electricity, you can always just use your surge protectors, and, almost everybody I know has everything plugged into a surge protector, but they don't shut off the surge protector at night. If you shut off the surge protector at night, think about this. You sleep for 8 hours, and then you wake up, takes you an hour to get ready to go to work. So that's 9 hours. And then you're gone at work for 8 hours. So 9 plus 8, that's 17 hours. And then you come home and you turn it on and you wait 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's ready to go. So you're looking at, if you use these surge protectors, 17 hours of having the electricity shut off. 17 hours versus 24 hours in a day. And that's 5 days a week. So that's a lot of hours that you could not be using your electricity, but, you're not using it anyway because you're asleep or you're at work. And I'm just trying to think, there's, after you do that, the best place to go is to look up your credit cards, to look at every single one of them. If you have good credit, you can do a balance transfer with $0 and transfer as much as you can onto the zero balance transfer that has the 0% interest rate for up to 18 months or whatever it is. If you have good credit, you can get offered that. But I've learned that not a lot of people have good credit, and I'm sort of saddened to learn that from being a landlord. So many people have applied and they don't even have a 620 credit score. So a lot of people have been turned away from renting my rental property. So you have to have good credit in order for that to work. But start with the cell phone, then maybe your cable. If you have cable, it's time if you don't have a smart TV, most people have smart TVs, but if you don't, buy a Roku box for about $20, $25. Just get the El Cheapo one. They're all 4K. They all have the same advantages. And it's time to hook that up on your TV, switch the input from cable to the Roku box, and start watching nothing but the Roku box, and wean yourself off of cable. Cable is $100 a month or more. And I was surprised to learn that like 60% of the population still pays for cable or satellite TV. And to me, that's just insane, because what you get from streaming on a Roku box or an Amazon Fire Stick or something along those lines is the same, if not better than what you get on cable TV. And I'm serious. I've had cable TV. I would not go back to cable TV now that I've learned how a streaming box works. I don't pay for any subscriptions. I don't have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, none of that. And I have more to watch than I would ever be able to watch in a lifetime. And it's not like it's all old crappy movies. These are like new releases, good movies. Tubi and Pluto TV, FilmRise are my personal favorites. And believe it or not, Amazon Prime. Now, people don't understand this. Amazon Prime, if you go to Amazon on your smart TV or your Roku box, you go over to Amazon Prime, and even if you don't have a Prime membership, there are tons of free movies on Amazon that you don't have to have a Prime membership to watch. Tons of them. They have every single season of Little House on the Prairie, Murder, She Wrote. I can't think of any off the Waltons. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but they have like literally every season of every show ever made, and it's all free. Freevee is a good one too. Amazon uses Freevee. So it's time. It's time to, if you're going to start small, start with the cell phone, and you're going to see how easy it is, how incredibly easy it is to lower your cell phone bill to something that is as insignificant as a cup of coffee, a cup and a half. You can't even get 2 cups of coffee for $10 a month. $10 a month these days. But you can get cell phone service for $10 a month, $9 a month, $15 a month. And if you're really crazy about the network that you use, AT&T, you can still get it for $20 or $30 a month. It's the easiest thing to do, folks. It's so easy. And just remember that as a frugal person, you still have all of the same things that non-frugal people have. I mean, look, I've got a heated and air-conditioned home. I've got a large screen TV. I've got cute dogs. I've got a running car. I've got fresh fruit on my table, which you can't see, but my neighbor brought me some fresh fruit from her trees. You know, I've got a garden in the back. I've got everything that all the non-frugal, quote, people that you view as rich. I've got all that stuff, except I don't pay for it. I don't pay for it. I've got cable TV, but I don't pay for cable. You know, I've got amazing cell phone service, but I don't pay for the cell phone service. You know, you can get everything that every rich person has, and you can get it for free or nearly free. You just have to put in a little bit of effort, just a little bit of effort. Don't be overwhelmed, one step at a time. If you get overwhelmed with doing one thing per day, do one thing per week. One thing per week, and it only takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5-minute increments, and you're going to get out of debt. You're going to build your wealth. You're going to be so much more free. Free. That's what money gets you. It gets you freedom. Money equals freedom. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out. You're so cute. You're such a cutie. Cutie.